Hi all, in this video we are going to see the root locus technique for the given problem. So the given problem statement is open loop transfer function is given by g of s is equal to k divided by s into s plus 2 into s plus 4. So we are going to sketch the root locus with the normal graph and we are going to solve the problem. So here the root locus is a powerful technique which was derived by Evans and in the year of 1948. So he has given the procedure for constructing the root locus with 6 steps. So those 6 steps we are going to see in this video. So step 1, to locate the poles and zeros. So in the step 1 we are going to mark the poles and zeros in the graph. So in order to find the poles and zeros for the given g of s, we are going to see how many number of poles and how many zeros are there. So you know that poles are given by denominator polynomial equation and zeros are given by numerator polynomial equation. So you don't have any equation in the numerator, therefore you don't have any zero. Denominator you have s into s plus 2 into s plus 4. So equating s into s plus 2 into s plus 4 is equal to 0. You can calculate s as s is equal to 0, s plus 2 equal to 0, which means s is equal to minus 2, s plus 4 equal to 0, which means s is equal to minus 4. So therefore total number of poles is 3, 0, minus 2 and minus 4, and there is no zeros at all. So with respect to this poles and zeros, we are going to mark it in the graph. The poles can be marked by x and zeros can be marked by circle. So at the end of each step, we are going to solve the graph by using the normal graph. And before that, in this particular problem, you have the poles as s into s plus 2 into s plus 4. In some problems, you may get a complex pole like this. So s into s square plus 4s plus 13. So in that case, how you will derive the roots? S square plus 4s plus 13, in the sense you will take a formula of minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. So substituting this equation in this formula, you can get the root as s is equal to minus 2 plus or minus j3 so this can be written as s is equal to minus 2 plus j3 and minus 2 minus j3 and s is equal to 0. So this is another particular problem. So I just to explain that, I have given as a note. Okay, so in this particular problem you have this roots and you have the poles here. So now at the end of the step 1, we are going to draw the graph. By using the normal graph, we are going to split it like this. So this x-axis is the real axis and this y-axis is the imaginary axis. Okay, so draw the x-axis as sigma and this one is minus sigma, and this one is imaginary axis plus j omega and this one is minus j omega, and split the values like divide the values like 1, 2, 3, 4, and similarly this one minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, and it goes on. Similarly the upper part is j, 2j, 3j, 4j, it goes on, and here lower part is minus j, minus 2j, minus 3j, minus 4j, and it goes on. So for this particular problem, you don't have any complex pole, so you may not get the curve point in the upper side and lower side. So you have 0, minus 2 and minus 4. So mark that pole over here with cross. So 0 P1 and minus 2 is P2 and minus 3 is P3. So I have named P1, P2, P3 as 3 poles. So this is my first step got over. Okay, so now the next step, step 2. So step 2 is that to find the root locus on the real axis. Whatever we have drawn from the first step, from that we are going to find which is the root locus. So for that you need to put a tabular column like this. So 3 column will be there: test point, number of poles and zeros on the right hand side of this test point, and real axis between the test point. Okay, so in this 3 column we will see whatever it is. The test point can be chosen how many number of poles is there. So if you are having 3 poles here, so the test point can be chosen from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and 3 to minus infinity. Okay, so P1 to P2 is one test point, P2 to P3 is another test point, P3 to minus infinity is third test point. So that is what we have written over in this column. So first test point is from s is equal to 0 to s is equal to minus 2. Second test point from s is equal to minus 2 to s is equal to minus 4. And third test point is from s is equal to minus 4 to s is equal to minus infinity. So choosing the first test point from s is equal to 0 to minus 2, you can see, you have to see number of poles and zeros on the right hand side of the test point. So you can point any point on this between this two interval 0 and minus 2. In between I can choose any point and I have to see how many number of poles and zeros on the right hand side of the plane. So in that case you have only P1. So 1 is odd number. So whenever you see from the right hand side of the test point, if you see the total number of poles as well as zeros, okay, P and Z. So if you see P and Z total number of poles is taken as odd number, then that part is called root locus. If it is even number, then that part is not to be root locus. So from this point to this point, you can see only one pole on the right hand side, and therefore this part is a root locus point. So that is what I have mentioned here. So only totally one number of poles, and therefore it is a part of root locus. And then from minus 2 to minus 4, you can choose any point as a test point, and you can see total number of points on the right hand side. So 2 points are here, P1 and P2. So which is even number. Therefore this P2 to P3 is not a root locus point. And the third thing is from P3 to minus infinity. So how many test points are there from A? If you take any point from here and if you see the total number of poles and zeros, you have 3 poles, so which is odd number, and therefore this point is also a part of root locus. Now what I am going to do is I am going to highlight the interval, and I am going to highlight the test point which is taken as a part of root locus. So which means I have from this tabular column from P1 to P2, which means, so you have to make it as a dark line from P1 to P2, and from P3 to infinity is the part of root locus, and in between minus 2 to 4 is not a part of root locus, so you are not going to highlight that. So this one is root locus, and this one is also root locus. Okay, so like that you have to put a highlighted point. So with the help of pencil you can make it in a dark line, this 2 part. So step 2 got over. After that, step 3, to find the angle of asymptotes and centroid. So this is a direct formula. For any kind of problem, the angle of asymptotes will be plus or minus 180 into 2q plus 1 divided by n minus m, where n is number of poles and m is number of zeros. In this particular problem, number of poles is 3. So n is 3, m is 0. So there is no 0, so you have 0. Q is n minus m. So you have 3. Yeah, so 0. It starts from 0, 1, 2, 3. This is how you have to choose the value, and you have to substitute in this, and you have to find this. Okay, so this is what the formula for angle of asymptotes. So it is enough to find the angle up to 2. Q is equal to 0 and Q equal to 1, because only 3 angles you are going to mark it in the graph. So that 3 angles only will be repeated in each cycle. So it is enough to calculate up to 0 and 1. Even if you calculate up to 3 also, it is not a problem. But we are going to mark it only 3 angles. So for Q equal to 0, the angle is plus or minus 60 degree. And for Q equal to 1, the angle is plus or minus 180 degree. So by using protractor, we are going to draw the angle, and we have to keep a centroid point for it. So centroid is another formula. Centroid is equal to sum of poles minus sum of 0 divided by n minus 1. So here your sum of poles. What are the poles here? The poles for this particular problem is s is equal to 0, minus 2, minus 4. So you are going to sum all the values. 0, minus 2, minus 4. and sum of 0 is 0. So minus 0 divided by n is 3 and m is 0. Number of poles minus number of 0. So if you calculate, you can get the centroid is minus 2. So how we are going to draw the graph with respect to the centroid? I am going to mark the angle of first three angles which I got it from angle of asymptotes, plus or minus 60 degree, plus or minus 180 degree. So again come to the graph. I am going to take centroid point. So which is the centroid point? 2 minus 2 is my centroid point. So I am going to mark the centroid point minus 2 and I am going to use the protractor. So if you are having a protractor like this, so I am going to use the protractor and I am going to mark it to the 60 degree angle. Okay, so I don't have protractor right now, so you can use this protractor and take an angle of 60 degree. Okay, so approximately the 60 degree will be like this. Please use the protractor for the so this will be 60 degree plus 60 degree and this will be minus 60 degree and 180 degree, obviously it is a straight line. So it will be overlapped with this real axis. So 180 degree. So totally 3 angles I have drawn. Okay, by using the protractor, keep the point at the centroid. Centroid is minus 2. So from minus 2, keep the point in the centroid and use the protractor. You are going to make an angle of plus 60 and minus 60 in the topmost side, and in the bottommost side you have to go into the. So this is up to step 3. Next is step 4. Step 4 is to find the breakaway and breaking point. So all the procedure are same for all the sum. Okay, so to find the breakaway and breaking point. So to find this, you have to use the closed loop transfer function. So we have the in problem as G of s, open loop transfer function. So you know the formula for C of s divided by R of s. Closed loop transfer function or formula is this one. This is the common formula. C of s by R of s is equal to G of s divided by 1 plus G of s into H of s. So my G of s is this. So I am substituting here. H of s is 1 since it is a unity feedback system as given in the problem statement. So K divided by S into S plus 2 into S plus 4 divided by 1 plus K divided by S into S plus 2 into S plus 4. So substituting, taking cross multiply and cancelling out the numerator and denominator, you can get the formula derivation like this. K divided by S into S plus 2 into S plus 4 plus K. So the denominator polynomial equation give you the characteristics equation. So my characteristic equation for this problem is S into S plus 2 into S plus 4 plus K equal to 0. I am going to take multiplication and I am going to write it over here. S into S square plus 6s plus 8 plus K equal to 0. So if I write, if again multiply this S inside now, I get S cube plus 6s square plus 8s plus K equal to 0. If I am keeping K in the left hand side itself and taking all of the term in the right hand side, I can get the equation like this. K equal to S cube minus S cube minus S square 6s square minus 8s. Okay. So now what I am going to do is I am going to differentiate the above equation with respect to S. See, this is the same procedure for all the problems. So for all the problem you are going to take as a fourth step, you are going to take C of s by R of s. Substituting the C of s by R of s, you are going to write the denominator equation of characteristic equation. From that characteristics equation, you are going to write the equation in this form, K equal to S of form. And then you are going to take the differentiation with respect to S. So if you are taking this equation with differentiate with respect to S, now you get this like this. So dk by ds is equal to minus. So you have all the 3 as minus. So taking minus is common. 3s square, since it is s cube, taking differentiation 3s square. 6s square, so taking differentiation 12s, and 8s taking differentiation 8 alone. So this is what differentiation with respect to s. then you have to substitute, put dk by ds is equal to 0. See, in the fourth step we are going to substitute c of s by r of s, and then from that you are taking the denominator polynomial equation as characteristic equation and then equating it to 0 and then taking k alone. This is the fourth step, and then you are differentiating with respect to s, that is fifth one. After that you are going to put substitute dk by ds as 0. So totally these steps is doing the step 4 itself. Okay, after you are putting dk by ds is equal to 0, you can able to find out what is s value. So that will be the next thing. So what I am going to do is, I am going to take k equal to minus s cube minus 6s square minus 8s, which is nothing but 3s square plus 12s plus 8 equal to 0. Okay, so this is the same thing I have written here. Okay, so minus 3s square, so minus term will get cancelled, so 3s square plus 12s plus 8, that is what I have written here. And then from this equation I can take what is s value. S value is minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. So with the help of this equation I can find what is s value. So, and by calculator also you can find out what is s value. So I get minus 0.845 and minus 3.154. So I got two values. Now I am going to check whether which value is breaking or breakaway point for this particular sum. So for that what I am going to do is, we know that k is equal to minus s cube plus minus 6s square minus 8s, reference to this is what this k, right, the same value here. So with respect to this k, I am going to check for these two values. So when substitute s is equal to minus 0.845 in the same equation, k equation, what is the k value? You are going to see whether you are getting positive and real value or negative value. So for this particular s value, s is equal to minus 0.845, I got k equal to plus 3.08, which is positive and real. And therefore next s is equal to minus 3.154, I am substituting the same thing here, and I am going to get the k value as minus 3.08, which is negative value. So how I am saying, I am substituting this minus 0.845 in this equation. So s cube na minus 0.845 the whole cube minus 6 into 0.845 the whole square minus 8 into minus 0.845. So substituting that in calculator, you can get this two value. Okay, for this particular value, yes, I got positive and real. For this particular of s, I got negative value. So on substituting all the s cases, I am going to check whether I got positive and real. If I got the k value was positive and real, then that point is called as actual breakaway point. If I didn't get a positive value, if I am getting negative value or any complex value, then that is not going to be my breakaway point. So from the step 4, from this much of calculation, I got this k equal to 3.08 is my breakaway point. Okay, so I am going to substitute, I am going to point out that breakaway point here. So minus 0.845. So which one is minus 0.845? Minus 1. So this will be around minus 0.845. So substitute this, marking this as breakaway point. Breakaway point. And this one is centroid. Okay, so this minus 2 is centroid, already we have marked, and this one is minus 0.845 is breakaway point. So I have marked that also. So my step 4 got over. And then next thing is step 5. Step 5 is to find angle of departure or angle of arrival. To solve the angle of departure or angle of arrival, problem in the poles you should have a complex pole, which I have mentioned earlier. So like this type of pole should be there. So poles you should have minus 2 plus 3j, minus 2 minus 3j, like this it should be there. If the sum is not like that, so you have 0, minus 2, minus 4, real values, all are real values. Even though it is negative or positive, it is real value, it is not an imaginary value now. Then you no need to calculate the angle of departure or arrival, because there is no angle of departure or no angle of arrival in this particular problem, because there is no complex pole. So simply you can mention it as, since there is no complex pole, we need not find the angle of departure or angle of arrival. Okay, next step 6. So step 6 is the last step. So to find the crossing point of the imaginary axis. Now we have what are the things we have done in the graph? We have marked the poles P1, P2, P3, and we have mentioned which is the root locus point. So P1 to P2 and P3 to minus infinity is the root locus point, and we have marked the centroid. With respect to the centroid, we have marked the angle of asymptotes plus 60 degree, minus 60 degree and 180 degree, which is overlined with the real axis, and then we have marked the breakaway point. Up to this we have finished, and we don't have any angle of departure or angle of arrival for this particular problem. Next, last step is crossing point. So now I'm going to draw the curve with respect to the breakaway point. So for that I need a crossing point on the imaginary axis. So for that, this is the procedure. So you have to take the characteristics equation again. S cube plus 6s square plus 8s plus k, the denominator equation of closed loop response. So this is the characteristics equation, the same s cube plus 6s square plus 8s plus 8 equal to 0. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to substitute s is equal to j omega in this particular equation. So j omega whole cube plus 6j omega square plus 8j omega plus k equal to 0. So substituting that, you get the equation like this. With respect to this equation, I am going to split the equation as a imaginary part separately and real part separately. So what is the imaginary part? Whenever you have j term, that is imaginary part. So minus j omega cube and plus 8j omega is my imaginary part, and minus 6 omega square plus k is my real part. So equating the imaginary part is equal to 0, I got minus j omega cube plus j 8 omega equal to 0. So rearranging the equation, you get omega square equal to 8. Therefore omega equal to root of 8. Therefore you get plus or minus 2.8. This is my omega value. And similarly, equating the real part. What is the real part? You don't have j there. So minus 6 omega square plus k is equal to 0. So k equal to 6 omega square. K equal to 48. You know the omega value is, omega square is 8. So I am substituting 8 here. So 6 into 8, 48. So this is my k value for this particular problems. Okay. And this is my imaginary axis, omega. So the imaginary value is omega, right? So plus or minus 2.8. So my crossing point is 2.8. So I am going to mark the 2.8 and minus 2.8. This is my plus 2.8 and this is my minus 2.8 approximately. So with respect to the breakaway point, I am going to mark it and I am going to take that point. So with help of this breakaway point, I am going to mark like this. This is what? Constructing the root locus. So why I have drawn like this? Because angle of asymptotes, it should be parallelly moved to the angle of asymptotes. Okay, so that is what I have drawn like this. With the free hand itself, you can draw like this. Okay, so this is S plane. So breakaway point, this is crossing point on the imaginary axis. Okay, so up to this, your root locus, construction of root locus got over. So this is how you have to construct the root locus for any given problem. So after marking all the things, you have to don't forget to write the scale also. So scale for 1 centimeter in x-axis, 1 centimeter equal to 1 unit. Similarly in y-axis, 1 centimeter equal to 1 unit. So we are taking each as common unit. So 1 unit, 1 unit. So this is what the root locus sum. So I hope you are clear with the sum. This is this basic procedure. This is applicable to all type of sum. Only thing is the angle of departure will vary for a complex pole. So you have to calculate the angle of departure for a complex pole sums. Okay. Thank you.